Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before I start the segment, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And please leave comments on the videos I'm making because it will help the algorithm, I guess. So good comments, negative comments, it doesn't matter. I want to know what you guys think. Your opinions matter to me as well. I like to know what, if you guys agree or disagree with my assessments on these things. So, without further ado, let's start this segment with a little fun segment, I should say.
Breaking tonight in just the past few minutes, the Washington Post is reporting former RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel is out at NBC News as a paid contributor.
So, Ronna McDaniel was hired by NBC on a Friday and dropped by Monday. Her endeavor took a whole weekend being on NBC. So, I don't understand why she even thought about joining that crew or the network for all that matter. MSDNC kind of, you know, guys, the funny thing is, soon as she was hired, the entire NBC crew, MSNBC, everybody was like, you need to drop her. And what did the president of NBC do? He dropped her right away. He listened to the woke mob and he bent the knee right away and he dropped her. Not that I like Ronna McDaniel, but overall, how this was played out was just funny as hell. I mean, she was definitely a failure as a chairwoman for RNC. And Vivek kind of called her out during when he was debating the other Republican candidates for presidency. He called her out. He offered her the stage, and that's where she said he won't get a dime. And but yeah, so but let's listen to this real quick.
Less than a week after being hired there. The announcement coming after a loud chorus from NBC hosts and various talent blasting that hire. Fox News media analyst, host of Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz joins me now with the latest. Good evening, Howie.
Brett, good evening. Talk about self-inflicted wounds. It was a spectacular miscalculation by NBC, hiring the ousted RNC chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel, and triggering an on-air revolt by MSNBC's liberal hosts that intensified last night. Their argument, since McDaniel played a role in Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, it was unethical to put her on NBC's payroll for a reported $300,000 a year. But that required the MSNBC stars to publicly trash their network bosses. And nobody wanted to be left out, especially its highest paid host.
You wouldn't hire a made man like a mobster to work at a DA's office, right?
That is capitulating to an autocrat in advance by saying, yes, we will take your apparatchik and allow them to be elevated and platformed with us, with journalists.
But we've also said election deniers is not just they can do that on our airwaves, but that they can do that as one of us, as badge-carrying employees of NBC News, as paid contributors to our sacred airwaves.
As paid contributors to our sacred airways. Did you hear how she said it? Sacred airways. The propaganda machine was about to break if she came on our network and our airways. Actually, she might have helped you guys even further. Okay, she would have. In a way, it was a good thing. In a way, it was a bad thing. And the good part of it, if she would have stayed on, the ratings would have dropped even more. That would have been the good way. In a bad way was that, now they're gonna basically constantly trash Trump, constantly trash the Republicans and blah blah blah, and she would just sit there and nod their head and blah 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 blah, and and agree with them. And she basically sold her soul for $300,000 a year to be a contributor on NBC. But what's gonna happen after this with her is basically she's now partyless. She has no party to to go to. She's not wanted at the Democrats, and she's definitely not wanted at the Republicans. So she kind of dug herself a huge hole by backing out of the comments she's made, and this is the result. Let's hear a little bit more.
But the sacred airwaves have had McDaniel on as a guest, and MSNBC President Rashida Jones, told of the hiring in advance, did not object. At almost any other news outlet, talent castigating the brass like this would be shown the door. After McDaniel's appearance on Meet the Press, NBC executives also appeared worried about alienating the largely liberal audience. MSNBC's sacred airwaves often refuse to air Donald Trump's speeches, even on primary nights. And while the channel employs prominent Republicans and ex-Republicans such as Nicole Wallace and Michael Steele, they are anti-Trump Republicans. So what damage would have been done if McDaniel occasionally voiced pro-Trump sentiments?
And there you go. That's what it was. I mean, even if McDaniel would have said anything pro-Trump on NBC airtime, her contract probably was voided. I guarantee you that, because the entire apparatus of NBC, MSNBC, or anything NBC related, it's anti-Trump rhetoric. All the hosts, every single host they have on NBC, NBC, and MSNBC are anti-Trumpers. All of them. Without a single doubt, every single one that goes on that airway is anti-Trump, regardless of anything. They're Trump deranged, they're anti-Trump, they hate anything about Trump and Republicans for that matter. And conservatives, I should add that into the mix. They absolutely hate conservatives, regardless of the party affiliation. You could be a Democrat but a conservative. Long time ago. But now, if you have any conservative views, you are deemed to be labeled as all the phobias that they have in their own God dictionary that they created, all the phobias, and and all the isms. The phobias and the isms are all over the place with MSNBC and NBC and all their hosts that they pay. This is why they got the crappiest ratings. But main point was, as they said, is that these networks, these liberal ran networks, cannot have an opposite viewpoint of what they are trying to push. Nothing that's against the narrative. So that's that.
With most of MSNBC portraying him as a danger to democracy. Insiders say the situation had become so untenable that NBC and Ronna McDaniel were destined to part company just 4 days after the network announced her hiring with great fanfare. What's clear is that NBC's credibility has taken a substantial hit on its own airwaves. Brett?
And that's very true. Their credibility is just garbage. It's always been garbage. It'll always remain garbage. It will not get any better than what it is now. In fact, it might actually get worse. But what's given them some lifeline is Trump being back in the presidential race and being back in the spotlight. So to them, this is the kind of a lifeline they kind of needed to boost their propaganda a little bit further out. That's if Trump wins again. All these media companies, they're just going to start banking again with money. But if the Democrats do their thing and cheat the system again with mail-ins and mail-in ballots and all the good stuff, they will try to take Trump out again. So, but yeah, she's out. She's homeless at this point. She doesn't know where to go because no one will pick her up. And the propaganda continues, guys. So let's see how that's going to play out. Anyways, leave your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. And hit that like button. Peace out.